Marcus Chen adjusted his tactical vest for the 5th time, standing outside the crystalline doors of Nexus Station's most expensive restaurant. The Zorathians who'd hired him had insisted this was a diplomatic security assessment, but something felt off. No weapons, formal attire required. And why did they keep snickering with those tentacle mouths of theirs? Just go in, sit at table 7 and await further instructions, Kathresh had gurgled, his 3 eyes gleaming with poorly concealed mirth. The restaurant's interior screamed opulence. Floating chandeliers of condensed starlight, tables carved from single asteroids, and a view of the Andromeda Nebula that made even hardened spacers pause. Marcus found table 7 in a private alcove where a figure already waited. She was unexpected. The woman wore a flowing dress of midnight blue that seemed to shift like liquid space. Her scales, because she definitely had scales along her neck and arms, shimmered with an iridescent quality that made them appear almost like jewelry. Most striking were her eyes, clouded white unseeing, yet she turned her head precisely when he approached. "You must be Marcus," she said, her voice carrying an odd harmonic quality. "Please sit." "I'm Syra." Marcus froze mid-bow. Is this a date?" A smile played at her lips. It would appear so. The Zorathians have quite the sense of humor, don't they? They told me I was meeting a security consultant about palace defenses. Palace. Marcus sank into his chair, processing. "You work at a palace?" "Something like that." Syra tilted her head, and despite her blindness, Marcus felt thoroughly examined. "Your heartbeat is elevated. Nervous about dining with a Draconis?" Marcus had fought alongside enough alien species to know the Draconis were no joke. Dragon-like humanoids from a high-gravity world, they were virtually indestructible in combat. But Syra seemed different from the warriors he'd encountered. More refined, almost delicate. More nervous about the Zorathians' definition of security assessment, he admitted. "Though I should probably mention I'm not exactly dating material. I'm a mercenary. I eat MREs and sleep in cargo holds. And I'm blind and breathe fire when I sneeze," Syra countered. "Shall we call it even?" Despite himself, Marcus laughed. The tension broke and their conversation flowed surprisingly naturally. Syra was witty, sharp, and had an unexpected fondness for human action movies which she watched through audio descriptions. Marcus found himself telling her about Earth, not the sanitized version for tourists, but real stories about monsoon seasons in Bangladesh where his grandmother lived, or the time he'd gotten lost in the Amazon preserves. "Your planet sounds chaotic," Syra observed after he described New York's underground music scene. "That's one word for it. We're not exactly the most organized species." "Yet you conquered death," she said quietly. "Every species in the galaxy knows this. Humans die and return. Your medical technology brings people back from what others consider the final journey. We're just stubborn," Marcus shrugged. "Too stupid to stay dead." Syra laughed, a sound like silver chimes. "I think there's more to it. You're the only species that weaponize spite. I read about your World War histories. You literally invented the concept of mutually assured destruction, and then built your peace on it. Their food arrived, some kind of luminescent soup that tasted like memories of summer." As they ate, Marcus noticed things. How Syra's assistant, who'd been sitting 3 tables away, kept checking a very official-looking communicator, how the waitstaff practically genuflected when serving her, how she occasionally used the royal we before catching herself. "So," Marcus said carefully, "what exactly do you do at this palace?" "Oh, various things. Mostly sitting through boring meetings where everyone pretends my blindness means I can't tell when they're lying." She paused. "Your breathing changed. You figured it out, haven't you?" "You're not just working at a palace. No. You're probably not even supposed to be here without a full security detail." "Definitely not. And the Zorathians are going to be executed for this, aren't they?" "Oh, most certainly. Though I might pardon them if this evening continues to be interesting." Marcus leaned back, reassessing everything. "You're the Empress, the Dragon Empress of the Draconis Imperium. Guilty. Though in my defense, you didn't exactly lead with, 'I'm the human who single-handedly held off a swarm invasion for 3 days on Kepler 442b. You knew?" Marcus Chen, decorated veteran turned mercenary after refusing to fire on civilian protesters, has a weakness for stray cats and consistently undercharges for jobs involving refugee evacuations. She smiled. I may be blind, but I do my research. So this whole thing was absolutely the Zarathian's idea, but she hesitated, showing the first vulnerability he'd seen all evening. I haven't had a real conversation in years. Everyone either fears me or wants something from me. You've been talking to me like I'm just Syra. Marcus considered this. Would you like to continue being just Syra for dessert? They have something called chocolate lava cake. It's a human thing. We basically turned edible volcanic eruptions into food. That sounds perfectly absurd. I love it. As they shared the dessert, the Emperor's guard finally tracked down their wayward ruler. 12 dragon warriors in power armor burst through the restaurant's doors, weapons drawn, only to find their Empress laughing at a human's terrible joke about space pirates. Stand down, Syra commanded, not even turning toward them. Mr. Chen was just explaining human humor to me. The guard captain looked like he was having an aneurysm. Your Majesty, this human will be escorting me to tomorrow's diplomatic summit. As my personal security consultant. She turned to Marcus with a grin that showed just a hint of fang. If you're interested. Marcus looked at the Dragon Empress, the most powerful being in 3 star systems, who'd just spent 2 hours debating whether Die Hard was a Christmas movie. Will the Zarathians be pardoned? Already done. Then, Your Majesty, I accept. As they left the restaurant, Syrah's hand briefly brushed his. Fair warning. Dragon courtship traditionally involves a lot of fire and combat trials. Lucky for you, Marcus grinned. Humans consider first dates that don't end in disaster to be boring. The Zarathians, watching from their hiding spot, gurgled in satisfaction. Their matchmaking success would become legendary, assuming they survived the Empress's gratitude.